Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Aiden.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're back at it.
Just so that everyone knows, I'd like to make everyone aware that I just finished eating lunch. And no, I don't want any of that toast. When I was like making it, then my manager, I won't name him, but my manager was like, "Is that what you're eating for lunch?" And I was just like, "Yeah." He's just like, "That's disgusting." And I was just like, "Yeah, well, I was going to make this, but, I don't have time because I have to record the podcast." He's just like, well, just let everybody know that I think that it's really unhealthy and has no protein whatsoever. But I think it's still really delicious. It was Cookie Crisp, so it was cereal.
It's a great lunch.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, you eat it for breakfast?
I do.
It's the only thing you eat for breakfast. What's the difference if you eat it only for lunch?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Guess what, Patrick?
What?
So this morning I bent down to tie my shoes.
Okay.
And I thought, maybe today I should tie my shoes a little bit looser.
Right.
So that's what I did. And as you can see,
it's quite loose.
My shoes are a lot looser, and I can say I feel like a free man.
Wow.
I feel completely different.
Why did that thought come into your mind?
I have no idea.
Interesting. Well, I've got this scratch ticket that I've been saving for this. I went down to get my cereal earlier, like 5 minutes before lunch, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a...
You have an addiction.
I don't have an addiction. I have an addiction not to gambling, but to scratching the scratch card. I just really enjoy the sensation of the scratching. So I'm going to scratch this so that we can let the listeners hear if I win anything. You have to keep talking.
I was going to hold it for you.
Oh.
All right. He is scratching it. Here we go for the 10,000, 30,000. Let's see if he wins any. I'm sorry, I'm chewing into the microphone. It's probably rule number 1 of do not do on a podcast. He scratches away. No. He's still scratching. Nothing yet. Anything?
Nothing there.
No. He blows away the dust of his lost money.
I almost won €9. I almost won €15.
He almost won 9 and 15 euro.
And 50.
And 30. Well,
30,000.
Almost only counts in horseshoes and darts, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No, horseshoes and...
Okay, the winning numbers...
Math.
18
no.
And 19.
18 and 19.
Winning numbers.
Winning numbers, 18 and 19. Let's see it, Patrick. Come on. Get us a win.
A 16. A 17.
A 17?
And a 12.
And a 12. No. No good.
Okay.
You got one more section of the scratch card. Come on, Patrick.
The last game.
Last one.
If I get a money bag, I win.
If he gets money back, he wins. A money bag. How much would you win in that one?
Depends.
Depends, he says. Depends. Maybe 50,000. He didn't get it. A wasted... How much did you pay for that?
€3.
A wasted €3. €3 he could have spent on something else, but chose not to. Chose to indulge himself.
If I had won, I would have got it 3 times. If I had won, I would have got a 3 times multiplier, though.
I can't believe that, man. It's a mutiny.
Wow. That is a shame.
Sue them. You should sue them for not
should.
winning. I wonder if you... Could you sue someone for not winning?
Probably not, because I think there's terms and conditions on the back of them that have kind of terms and conditions.
Well, I hope the back would have terms and conditions.
Rules and procedures. Not to be sold. It's funny. Whenever people like sell me these, right? Whenever I go and buy them, which isn't really that frequently, okay?
Okay.
They're always like, "Are you under 18? Or are you 18, sorry?" And I'm just like, "Yes." And then they don't like ask for ID or anything. They're just, "Oh yeah, he's telling the truth."
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. They don't card you.
Nope.
It's probably because after you say it, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's definitely over 18."
Yeah.
Like once you say it, probably like makes sense in there. How old are you?
20.
You're 20. Wow.
Yeah.
You're getting up there, man.
Yeah, I know.
Getting up there in
Yeah,
age.
crazy.
That's
Did you know that the lead singer from AJR is only 22?
That's crazy. I don't think anyone knows who AJR is.
Oh my goodness, AJR. I've been listening to a lot of AJR
Mhm.
recently. Although I was watching a review on them yesterday by this one music guy, and he really doesn't like them. He
Who
thinks.
is it?
Do you know Anthony Fantana?
He doesn't like them?
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Why doesn't he like them?
He doesn't like them because he thinks they're all just kind of like, oh, we're never gonna be famous, and I guess we'll just try and do what we do for now. And
Is
all
that
this kind
is
of
that what their music is like?
Yeah.
Or so they say that that's their theme through the music?
Yeah, a lot of their music is like, because they're alternative.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like a lot of people, so they're always like, yeah, they're not
Mm-hmm.
super big in the industry, but at
Which
the
is
same
fine.
time, yeah, it's fine. But this problem is always arising, like will people just all of a sudden like stop listening to us?
Yeah.
Like one of their songs, like they talk about what if someday people hear us in the grocery, if our song is playing in the grocery store, but then everybody's thinking like, oh, who's that?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it is kind of a like why are you singing about that? That's kind
Yeah.
of the thing. It's like
Yeah.
why?
It's fair. I mean, that's not all that they sing about.
Sure.
Um,
Hopefully not. That would get a little redundant.
yeah, it does.
They have a really cool like from what I've heard of them, you showed me a couple of their songs.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
a cool kind of sampling technique,
Yeah.
which is really popular today. Not always in the same form that I've known it to start, to
Yeah.
how it began. But it's very like you just take a little chop of like an old song and that gives you like a note or a chord progression that you need in the
Yeah.
song, and you keep going, and it gives
Yeah,
you this
yeah.
really cool kind of like glitchy feel. And you've heard me say this, but Todd Edwards is definitely he's definitely the king of that.
Yeah.
If you've ever listened to Todd Edwards, like it's crazy.
Yeah. I haven't.
Oh, dude, listen to him. Shout out to Todd Edwards. Todd Edwards, if you could reach out to me, if you listen to this, he's actually Christian. He's got some Christian songs.
Okay.
He's incredible, man.
Wow.
Yeah, Todd Edwards. Listen to him. He's really, really good.
Yeah. So I think we've almost just kind of like accidentally segued into our
Yeah,
topic
Patrick,
for
you're going to be
today.
leading today's podcast. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So I suppose I'll officially welcome the listeners. Welcome to Consistently
Welcome to
Inconsistent
Consistently
Podcast.
Inconsistent Podcast.
My name's Grant.
My name is Aiden.
We are consistently inconsistent. We have a few shout outs first.
A few shout outs. This shout out segment is going to get way too long at
It's
some
gonna
point.
get
So get in there
really
while you
long.
can,
Yeah.
because
We might not reply
once
to
we're
everybody.
famous, we're not going to be able to shout out 15
How long
million
will we stay
listeners.
famous though? Like what if somebody's listening to our podcast in the grocery store and they say, "Who's that?"
Why would they be playing
And then the person
podcasts
next to them is
in a
like, "Don't you
grocery
know
store?
it's consistently inconsistent?" So we got one that said the best weirdest food combination. This was
from episode
Lunchtime
3?
Banter.
2.
I can't remember.
Episode 3, 4th episode, I think.
From Lunchtime Banter. I think we just need to start calling them by their episode names.
Sure.
The best / weirdest food combination is a grilled peanut butter, banana, raspberry jam, and honey sandwich.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like a heart attack between two
Yeah,
pieces of bread.
it really does.
Jeez.
So that was from Peter. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah.
I think Peter followed me on Spotify.
I'm pretty sure he did as well.
On SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
Well
yeah.
done, Peter. Good job.
I definitely had more, but I don't know where they are anymore.
I think a couple people want to buy merch.
Yeah, there's definitely been a few people
Couple people for sure.
expressed interest in buying merchandise, which is exciting.
And anything else, Patrick?
No, I think that's
Guess
it.
who I saw on the way?
Oh.
Yep.
So Jody, this was about the
Lonely Hearts.
the Lonely Hearts podcast.
Yes, Jody.
She said, "Hey, consistently inconsistent, long-time listener, first time emailing." Marie's comment.
That's so funny.
Marie's comment on the Lonely Hearts podcast about remembering to have fun in the context of dating continues into marriage. We have been married for almost 22 years now and have 7 children. But when we, my husband and I, have a chance to go on a date and have fun together, we always end up looking at each other at some point and saying, "I'm so glad we still enjoy being together," and laughing with each other.
Wow.
Truly a gift. Love how vulnerable everyone has been. Great podcast. Keep it up.
That's such a good comment.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, Jody. Oh, that's where the comments were. It was on our Spotify or on our SoundCloud. Sorry,
Nice.
that's where the comments were.
Yeah, go for it.
No,
I was gonna say something, if that's okay,
what were you
Patrick.
gonna say?
I was gonna say, guess who I saw on the way to mass today?
Who did you see?
Ikro the Exiled. He came out.
No way.
I'm not joking. He came and said hi. He was like he's 10'1".
The bridge was shaking as I walked over it.
It was probably him. He was probably jumping right. Did you see him? No, he was probably.
I've
jumping
never
right
seen
under.
him.
He lives under the bridge in Bal Buffet on the way to mass.
I've heard him, but I've never seen him.
He sees you.
Did he mention me?
He didn't mention you. No.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know.
So Rachel had said on the lunch break banter that Muppet Christmas Carol is also one
It
of
is
her
such a good
favorite.
movie. Yeah.
I can't find the total, like the full comment for some reason. I'm showing the full one.
That's okay.
But yeah. So
That's
yeah,
okay.
Connor McNamee is with us as well
Hello,
today.
Connor McNamee. Say hi. What's your name?
My name is not Ekror.
He was. This is Connor from the Brotherhood episode.
Yes, the same one.
And we have him in today. Is that sushi?
Yeah, I made sushi last night.
So yeah. So thanks for everybody that sent in emails and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, thank you.
Please continue to do so. Please continue to buy merchandise. This is exciting stuff. If you
Really
want
exciting.
merchandise,
We're getting there, guys.
send us an email.
What is this? Episode 6?
This is
7th
episode 6. Yeah. It's so confusing. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about music.
Yes.
All three of us really like music. So that's why earlier I
Love
had
it.
said that it was a segue, was because we were talking about
Right.
AJR and stuff like that. Shout out to AJR.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Sorry.
Not worth a shout out, I think. Because they might get too famous. They could get famous from our shout out.
Yeah.
And
but
then all
then
their
what
songs
if
would be void.
what if they? Well, I mean, then they just make songs about
Being famous?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think we
Um.
want that either.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like you guys are gonna get really
AJR,
famous.
shout out to you. What?
What if they do a shout out to you in their song then?
Then
And
we
these are
get
equally
famous
famous.
Then we get famous, and then we shout out them, and they'd start making music about being famous.
by consistently inconsistent.
Yes.
Yeah, today's episode is about music, making it and listening to it and all of the above. I'm sure we will do more episodes. We are going to have Pierce back today and talk about music because he really likes music. But he wasn't available today.
Shout out to Pierce.
It's, when I listen back to these podcasts, the amount of times that we shout people out.
Shout out to Zoom.
Zoom is the
Zoom.
consistent one.
Zoom is the yeah. We need Zoom.
That's consistently consistent.
Zoom needs us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like AJR needs us.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of like that. Yeah. A
Aiden
little
makes
bit.
music.
I do.
He talked about it a bit
A little bit. Yeah.
in one of the episodes.
Yes. Correct.
Which one did we talk about?
Waffles, episode 2,
Yeah.
the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
So tell us about your music making, how it works. What do you do to make music?
Sure, I would love to answer that, Patrick. So, I originally started making music on the Roland Juno DS 88 key keyboard synthesizer.
That's quite the
Okay.
mouthful.
It is quite the mouthful, but you could look it up if you want. It's kind of a basic synthesizer. It's one that we as Net ordered so that it can keep up with the.
Basic synthesizer.
It's pretty basic, yeah. I mean, for today's standards, I think it is. But it's got a pattern sequencer mode, and it has 8 tracks that you can upload different sound patterns on, I guess, for lack of a better
Right.
term. So if you're running like a 4/4 beat with a kick drum, you can record that over 8 patterns, and that's one of your tracks. And you can also overdub each of the tracks. So you can make some. There it is. That's Connor with the 4/4. So you can do that, and then there's also like a mute mode, which means you can mute a certain track.
Mhm.
So all the notes that are then within that one track, you mute.
Right.
So I started on this. I was just making simple chord progressions, a simple drum beat, and I would like kind of mute them, bring them back for
Yeah.
little kind of drop effects.
Okay.
And that's how I started making music. Then I ordered the Novation Circuit, which has a sequencer,
Yeah.
which is a lot different than the Roland, because you have
Yeah.
to live record everything in the Juno.
Yeah.
And it's painful. Like going back to the Juno, I'm like this. It takes forever because if you mess up, you have to erase it. and record the whole thing again.
Yeah.
So a
it's a painful
sequencer means that you unclick it from the sequencer, and then you re-put it in there. You can either live record it or just sequence it.
Yeah.
I don't think this is making much sense to our listeners, but a sequencer basically, it's 16 steps. You can put any notes or drum sounds or any sounds that you want. And then when you press play, the sequencer runs through the 16 steps.
Yeah.
It repeats. And as it goes by whatever step, it's going to play the note on said step. So on step 1, the sequencer will go by.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to play the note on the first step of the sequencer.
Wow.
Okay, now I have the Electron Digitone. It's a FM synthesizer, which stands for frequency modulation.
Okay. Like a radio.
No.
Oh.
Well, no, different than that.
Oh, sorry.
So
uncultured.
No, it's the same acronym. It's just different.
Oh.
It's not FM radio.
Yeah.
It's FM
modulator.
Yes, FM synthesis.
Synthesis.
Yes. So that is actually it's digital, and I don't exactly know all of.
Oh my goodness. Connor, what was that experience like?
So sorry to get off topic. Oh, well, don't worry, we'll jump back on. But Connor just ate a massive California
Sushi
roll.
Yeah. Wow.
Is it not a California? It looks like the outside of a California roll. Ate a massive piece of sushi in one bite and currently cannot speak into the microphone.
I'm not able to do that. I have arthritis in my jaw.
Do you?
I do.
Oh my gosh, we'll talk about that later. Did
Yeah.
Eli jump on it with his knee? And
no.
cause
This
internal
time
bleeding?
it was my own fault.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about that sometime.
Yeah, we can talk
We
about
won't
it
get too
sometime.
off topic.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, the Digitone, the FM synthesizer, uses different waveforms to modulate each other. So if I have a sine wave is the most basic kind of wave,
Okay.
and I increase its frequency, it's going to be going up and down a lot faster, the wave itself.
Yeah.
And then if I modulate that with a sine wave that has a really low frequency, it's going up and down very slowly, up, down, and I mix the two together. The sound is going to be one of a high sound going up and down very slowly because the two sine waves are blended.
Yeah.
So they're modulating each other.
Okay.
That's a very basic example of how FM synthesis works. But you can also throw a sawtooth wave in there. There's different waveforms.
Oh.
So to answer your question, Patrick, I make music by entering into a sequencer and then pressing the play button.
So you don't like have like a specific like melody that like is in your head and then you just kind of create that, or you just like start creating?
I usually start creating. Sometimes I'll lay a drum beat down first and see what that inspires.
Yeah.
I'll play it at different tempos and just maybe mess with a couple of sounds or
Yeah.
notes. I know Connor, so I worked with Connor on a lot of music. We are the Orient. That's our band name. We're a trinity, so I am the Orient. Connor is the Orient, and the music that we output is also the Orient. So it's it's a trinity-based band.
Yeah.
So when we say we are the Orient, I am completely the Orient, but also he is. It's a mystery.
That sounds like communism.
Why?
I don't know, man. It just sounds, or maybe I don't know if communism was the right way to put it, but it does sound.
Anyways,
Like heresy?
maybe heresy.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, here's the thing, okay?
If you think it's heresy, please let us know. We could also become a trilogy.
A trilogy, yeah. A trilogy could also work.
Or just a three. No, it's not even a 3-part band. It's a 2-part band.
But the music we output is also the Orient.
Okay.
You know the Father and the Son?
Yeah, and then the love of the
The
Father
love
and
of the
Son.
Father is so great for the Son that is
Embodied.
embodied in the Holy Spirit. It's the same thing. The musical fusion that is created between Connor and myself is the Orient as well. Why do you laugh?
The Orient's true.
Why you laugh?
I said, why do you laugh? But you probably just couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And the Orient are also
Why you
the
laugh?
Orient
Why
also
you laugh?
come from the Orient Nation.
Yes, the Orient Nation is our record label,
Oh,
but it contains within it many aliases or entities that also make music.
So it's also a place where other people reside.
who else resides there?
The Mediator is one of the artists on our label who resides there. He makes kind of like electronic, like ambient drone music. Kind of.
Do we know who the Mediator is?
I don't know.
I don't know if we can reveal the Mediator's identity.
But you guys do know who the Mediator is.
We know who he is.
Our musicians signed a contract saying, we signed a contract for our musicians saying we will not without your permission. But I guess I could just ask him real quick. Here, let me phone him up.
Okay.
Yeah, he said it's okay. It's me.
Wow, that was...
The Mediator is me.
Oh, that's why it was
mediator,
such a quick phone call.
And I am within.
And I'm within.
And I'm within the Orient Nation. Who else do we have on there? Dylan? Is Dylan in the Orient Nation?
Dylan hasn't signed a contract. I think we should probably...
You could be in the Orient
delete
Nation.
this.
Do you want to be in the our Orient Nation?
I don't really make music.
that could be a problem.
Yeah. I think you need to make music, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the Orient Nation.
Okay.
We have Children of the Orient.
Children of the Orient.
Yeah, they're like a kind of funk soul band.
Who's that?
You have to ring them up first.
Proper cult.
The Children of the Orient.
Well, like, have you ever collected like funk or soul records?
No.
Like,
no.
Have you ever heard of Funkadelic or Parliament?
Yes, I've heard of Funkadelic.
They do sound similar.
Right.
It's really cool. Like, they definitely have it's basically just them, but then within it there's like a lot of different music and different styles and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a little nod
funky
to Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah.
Could I maybe ask Connor about how he makes music?
You could absolutely
maybe
ask
about
Connor.
your journey, Connor, the Orient.
Ooh. Yeah?
Yeah, please.
Journey with the Orient.
Please, thank you.
I started making music about 10 years ago, playing like bass in a band and drums in a band, just like kind of standard rock music stuff, with like effects pedals, lots of delay and reverb and distortion and
nice
that kind of stuff. And then basically I spent like a few years in my bedroom trying to sound like Aphex Twin, who's like kind of he's like the godfather, not the godfather of electronic music, like he didn't start it, but he's kind of like the guy who everyone who makes ambient or electronic music wants to be like. And so I spent a few years trying to sound like him, failing miserably because like I had like a MIDI keyboard in my laptop and he has like modular synthesizers and like he has a tank.
Like thousands of dollars worth of modular.
Yeah. And so from there like got into like loads of electronic music, Flying Lotus and Baths, that kind of stuff. If you know it, like wonky LA hip hop influence stuff. And then basically tried to sound like them. Like started sampling records. Like I worked in a record shop and collected loads of records. So I'd like
that's cool.
Yeah, I've got about 1,000 records or so on. Aiden's toast is about to fall off his plate.
Dude, you saved my toast.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm eternally grateful.
You are, yes.
Thank you.
And so I started sampling records. Like basically, like I kind of make music similar to how Aiden makes music. I see it more as like sound collage rather than like, oh yeah, I have this melody in my head and I'm gonna like put this melody onto paper. You know, like, so it's more like I would listen to records and then like hear a cool part and like sample it and then like pitch it or something or like cut something out of it, take the bass out of it, and then from there like I made a whole album of tracks.
Wow.
It's called Night Bloomer, so it's NYTBLOMER, and it's on SoundCloud. And the album's called Old Toys, and it was kind of based on like I had a bunch of old toys from the attic that I made a music video with, but also kind of like a concept of like old toys is in like sounds or like old toys. Like if you think about how tribal people would have made music and stuff, they just made music with what they found around them, and then just kind of everyone has a rhythm within them and like everyone has ears and blah blah blah, so that kind of thing. So I made music like that for a while. I got a little sampler thing, SP 404, and sampled onto that. But it's quite difficult. Like Jay Dilla and Madlib use them. Yeah. And I like stayed up for hours one night using it and figured out the kind of Madlib technique on it. And it's basically like the way sounds blend in each other and phase. Like there's just this slight phasing that happens that
Mhm.
like you wouldn't really pick up on unless you spent hours with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how he gets like his sound.
His sound, yeah.
So it's very cool. And then the keyboard, we got the keyboard here. Net basically got the
Mhm.
keyboard thanks to Barnabas to Wake West Day.
Shout out to you, Barnabas.
Shout out to you,
Shout
Barney.
out.
Yes.
And from there, like basically we took it home to mess with it, and the Orient was born.
Wow,
Similar to
beautiful.
Aiden, like we play piano, synthesizer on it,
Yeah.
make drum beats. We're kind of working within the framework of like eight
bars.
Yeah, eight bars and 8 patterns.
Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of working within those limitations and seeing what we can do within them.
2 points that, if I may, from what Connor said here. The first thing is, if you're going to get gear, what I find, it's so easy that you fall into something that musicians or you could probably, I don't know, I've seen it definitely in music, but like it's called GAS,
Okay.
gear acquisition syndrome. And gear acquisition syndrome is when all you want is the next synthesizer. New stuff. Oh, I
Mhm.
need this, then my music is going to sound good. I need this, then my music.
Same with like photography and
Exactly.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It probably translates over into like,
Mhm.
other
Yeah.
stuff. But what Connor is saying with spending hours, he just did the thing with the sushi again. He just shoved it in like these things. He made this himself.
They are gigantic.
It's not as small as like
They're very
your
big.
normal sushi.
Yeah.
Shout out to sushi makers. But well, shout out to you, Connor. I guess you're a sushi maker. But he spent hours with the SP404, and only until then did he realize, oh, okay, I'm able to get this certain sound out of it, or I'm able to get really what I want. Frequency modulation is a really difficult type of music making,
Yeah.
and I'm only now just getting into it. I've had the Digitone for a couple months. So that, I guess where I'm going with that is you kind of have to, quote unquote, break the machine. You have to get it so that you can push its limits completely. If you're not going to be able to do that, you're just going to be getting synth after synth, not using them to the best of what they're actually supposed to do.
Yeah.
So break the devices that you get, rather than just getting new thing after new thing, only barely scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Like, not Patrick. Sorry, Patrick. Shout
I
out to
forgive you.
Connor and I, the Orient, have, I think, broken the Juno. Like, we know it inside and out.
You say so?
I'd say so. Yeah.
I think
I
you
think
know
so.
it better than I do. I feel like I'm still a fan of my feet.
Well, you are the Orient.
That's true.
We won't get too much into the theology of it. But, yeah. I think we've broken. Yeah, like we can push it really, really far. We can get different sounds out of it that we want. We can, and those limitations that we're confined within really help us to make really fun, cool music on it.
Yeah.
Well,
that you wouldn't be able to make otherwise.
Well, like I'm comfortable with the Juno, but you were able to rewire it so that it like basically you hooked it up through MIDI to like your
did.
other devices, so
Yeah,
it
I
could like
did do
speak
that.
to them and like where they could all work together.
I did do that. Yeah. So I had my Digitone, and I really like the drum tones on it.
Yeah.
The drum tones on the Juno sound a little bit thin, a little too like, I don't know, just not good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I want to hook up the Digitone to the Juno. So you hook it up by MIDI. You send the MIDI out, in. Yeah, you send it out into the Juno, and then whenever you press the play button on the Digitone, it presses play on the Juno.
Wow.
So you have them completely synced up, whatever the BPM is on the Digitone.
Yeah.
So it's the master, and then the Juno is the slave.
Okay.
That's the, so the Digitone was the master.
Yeah.
And so what you're able to do is you're able to use a sequencer in a context where the Juno isn't able to have a sequencer.
Wow.
And you sound very enthused, Patrick.
I am very
You're
enthused.
not.
This is it's interesting stuff.
It is interesting. Yeah,
I
sorry.
do. I watch
didn't
a
mean to
lot
call
of.
you out on that.
No. I watch a lot of like. See, I wish that I could create music.
You can.
I can a little
You
bit.
can. You totally can.
I
I'll let
think
you borrow
if
my
I
circuit.
spent more time, then I probably
Funky
could.
Rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, listeners!
We should. I think.
Let's
Consistently Inconsistent could
I'll make
have-
it the outro music.
Could have a world exclusive of Funky Rainbow.
Can I make
Yeah.
it the outro music
Yeah,
for this
sure, you
episode?
can
All
do
right,
that.
listeners, this is your incentive to keep listening. Don't skip to the end. Okay, don't do that. It's not cool.
It's not. Listen straight.
Stay with it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, Funky Rainbow is a track. It's not finished yet. I'll let you put out what I have there so far.
I'll play like 10
because
seconds
I'd
of
like
it
to
or
add some
something.
bass and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
dude, for sure.
But yeah, Funky Rainbows is a track that I came up with. It's all right, but again, like if I spent more time, see, I watch a lot of videos like Andrew Huang and
Yes, he's good.
Red Means Recording.
He's good.
The OP one, like I
Oh
love
my
the OP
gosh,
one.
The
That
Teenage
thing is
Engineering
just-
OP
yeah.
one is unreal.
I'd love to get an OP1.
Yeah, those
We should
things
we
are
should pool our
machines.
money and get OP one.
We should.
I could buy an OP one maybe at some point this year.
Yeah, there
You
you
could
go.
buy us an OP1.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution.
Okay,
Shout
so
out to Aiden
there
for
are a
buying
lot
the
of
OP1.
there are a lot of things that these listeners need to Google
a lot.
because they're completely.
They're
But
probably lost.
so music is this mine. It's this vein of gold and treasure and joys that you enter into once you start figuring out more about it.
Yeah.
Go down the Buchla modular, go down the Eurorack modular, go down FM synthesis, go
Yeah.
down additive or subtractive synthesis. There's so much. There's the
It's crazy.
OP1, which is just
Everything.
like, yeah, it's
The
insane.
808, the 909,
Oh, the 808.
303.
Oh, yes, the SP303. I think that's actually what J Dilla used to make donuts.
Yeah.
He was the 303 guy.
He made it on his deathbed in hospital.
Oh,
It's an amazing record.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Donuts by J Dilla.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so start looking up these things. I encourage you, listeners. And
Yeah.
I want to encourage you as well, Patrick.
Yes.
You can make music. I will lend you my synthesizer if you want.
Thank you, Aiden.
And I know that whoever's listening can also, you can make music too.
Yes, Aiden will lend you his synthesizer, listeners. He
No,
will
no, no,
send
no.
it out to you.
Such a voice of encouragement, Aiden.
Shout out
Just
to
you,
you, Aiden.
Patrick, because you're here. I
Oh.
can't send it to, it's one synthesizer.
But we are all the Orient.
I am the Orient. Connor is the Orient.
You
The
know what
music,
this reminds me of?
What?
You know the Beatles song, I Am Walrus, or whatever the song is?
Yeah.
No.
You don't know it?
No.
Yeah, you know.
I am the walrus.
Yeah.
I am the walrus.
Yeah.
I've never heard
I
of it.
am, he is, we are. So, like, it's crazy.
It's just a big long chain.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a pretty trippy song.
maybe he could be the third person of the Orient, Connor.
The music, the third person is already taken up.
No, but like, we just kick it up.
Kick out the music, the
Yeah.
most important part.
No, it's not the most. It will still proceed, but it just won't be. It won't be so that it will be another
It'll be quadrinity.
a quadinity.
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 I'm just gonna say it wouldn't be a person then. You'd kick it out.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I could handle that responsibility.
It's not, there's no responsibility. You just be the Orient. Right?
It's a lot of pressure to carry on your shoulders.
Is it?
is.
Yeah.
It
I've
is.
never really felt the pressure.
I've been carried it all.
Thank you, Connor, for carrying the pressure of
It's
the
like,
Orient.
he's like the sun carrying the cross.
Whoa!
Also,
That's crazy.
let us know what you guys thought of Ekror, the Exiled.
Oh yeah, Ekror. Shout out to Ekror. I love Ekror. He was so fun.
Yeah, I wish I could have met him and not,
Been in his stomach all
been
day.
in his stomach
How long were you there for? Like 20 minutes?
a long time.
Like 25 minutes, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, wow. This was a fun episode. Is this still?
Are we
oh,
finished?
I don't know.
Patrick.
We have 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, Patrick, you're planning the episode. What direction would you like this podcast to take? Maybe a little bit about what kind of music you like to listen to, the journey of your listening.
Wow, the journey of my listening.
Where did you start at? What was like a big inspirational band for you or artist?
I
Or where did it
think
come from?
I think so. Growing up, I listened to a lot of Christian rock.
Nice. Like who?
I think my favorite band when I was a kid was probably Casting Crowns.
Okay. Nice.
They were pretty good. Or Third Day.
What about Skillet?
Switchfoot. I never really liked Skillet.
Switchfoot are
I
very
I
good.
still love Switchfoot.
Yeah, definitely.
They're a great band. But I feel like but then that kind of like started. So I started listening to a lot of Need to Breathe.
They're good. A little bit more kind of folky alternative.
As I started like getting older, yeah, Need
Maybe
to
not
Breathe.
folk.
No, they would have been folk, but I feel like they've kind of started drifting more into rock.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And then I started listening to that kind of like transitioned me into like other stuff.
Still Christian?
I'm still Christian, yeah, but then it did kind of like take me from there. And then after that, I don't really know who I listen to. Just a lot of Need to Breathe,
Yeah.
like in my high school years. And now I listen to so many, like the genres that I listen to are just all over the place.
Yeah.
Listen to a lot of pop now, which I never really liked growing up, but I do enjoy it now. It's just, it's I
Like mainstream pop?
some mainstream pop, but a lot of kind of alternative pop. Yeah. Like nothing like,
Never heard you listen to mainstream pop.
Well, it's so I have this playlist on Spotify called I Just Made This, and it's just full of music that like I enjoyed at the time.
Oh, okay.
So there is some kind of pop songs. I can't remember what songs are on there, but I really like indie and like alternative rock and alternative pop. I really my favorite bands at the moment are probably Amber Run
They're a great band.
and
Half Alive?
Half Alive
Oh my gosh.
and AJR. I think those are my top 3 favorite bands at this time. In my life.
Sweet.
Shout out to Half Alive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
Half
a proper
Alive.
shout out. Well done, Connor.
Half Alive
That was a
is
good cho-
I think that was my
Chosen
first
shout
shout out.
That was
so
a good, well chosen shout out.
So let me
Yeah.
see.
Out.
Out.
So do you know that song?
Out.
You know the band Galantis or the group?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like is that kind of
Never heard of
poppy or is that EDM?
Yeah, like electronic.
I have
electronica.
a lot of Zed. I do have
Zed,
I
I'd say,
do
is
really
more
like
pop.
Zed.
Yeah.
Um,
Or EDM. Yeah, EDM often can cross over with pop, I think. You
some-
probably wouldn't hear it on the stations as much. But
I
it's
have
like
some,
pop electronic.
Some Sia.
Huh?
Sia.
Sia? Oh, okay.
Sean Paul.
Sia's
Sean Paul.
got a great
Cheap
voice.
Thrills.
Yeah.
I have that song. Yeah,
Nice.
I do like Sia.
Great
Yeah.
voice.
Daft Punk.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started. Move on now.
Aiden needs a whole episode for that.
David Guetta. Is that how you say his name, or is it Guetta?
Guetta, yeah.
Guetta.
Guetta.
That's what it looks
David
like.
Guetta. David Guetta. David Guetta.
The Lumineers, although they're more folk.
Have you ever heard of David Guetta?
Guetta. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh. I cannot believe it.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, there isn't a whole lot of pop actually. Classified.
No, I've never heard of Classified.
I think they might be Canadian. I'm not
So
sure.
have you ever heard of...
Walk Off the Earth will forever be my favorite band of all time.
No way.
Yes.
Of all time?
Of all time.
That's really interesting. Why?
Because so like their original music is all right, but their covers are amazing.
Covers. Wow, so you're a cover man.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
Only when it's Walk Off the Earth. Because Walk Off
Wow.
the Earth just do phenomenal.
I
They're
didn't
so
know that.
they're so creative with their
What do they
covers.
cover?
Everything.
Name one.
They cover What Do You Mean? You know the
Nice.
Justin Bieber song? But like they're just really creative. They do Hello, the Adele song.
Oh, nice.
But they have like bells and it's just like the way that they do their covers are just really
They have all
creative.
the crazy homemade like toys
Yeah.
and instruments.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
they're
know
just-
who that is
yeah.
now.
They're
Yeah.
really in sync. And it's
Really
wonderful.
tight.
I also that was probably I think they were my first secular concert that I went to.
You seen him live?
Yeah.
Nice.
For free.
That's perfect.
And so yeah, that was definitely that changed my life.
Are you eternally grateful?
Yes.
That's great.
It made me really want to start to play music. Like I'd say that was a catalyst in my music
Dude,
playing.
you do play instruments.
I do.
So what's stopping you from just laying something down? Something acoustic? Multi-track
Acoustic,
record, drums,
like
bass, guitar.
lyric stuff, like lyrical stuff. I can never come up with lyrics.
You don't need to do lyrics.
And
Just
then
sing
other
scripture.
stuff. What?
Ooh,
Just sing
sing
scripture.
the scripture. Sing Revelation. Harp and bowl.
And then I also feel like everything is taken. Like, you'll start to play something on the guitar. It's like, oh no, that's already a melody. It's already kind of taken.
Bro, don't worry about that yet. Come on, don't worry. Don't let that stop you from making music.
Thank
You are unique.
You've
okay?
inspired me, Aiden.
There is no mind like
I feel
yours,
inspired.
and it can never be replicated. It can never be replicated.
So it looks like we are getting the boot
Yeah.
The office. Shout out to
well,
Telia.
guys.
Shout out to Telia.
We can keep this going. This episode can
topic.
keep going because
This is like part one of
Many.
infinity.
infinity in the Orient Nation.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think.
Instagram is consistently inconsistent show.
Email
And the email
Patrick's
is
podcast55 at gmail.com.
Email us. What kind of artists do you like?
Yeah.
Do you play music? Have I
Yeah.
inspired you?
Yeah.
Because that's the goal.
Would you like to hear the Orient sometime?
Oh,
If you could buy any
yes.
of the equipment that we've talked about, what would you buy and why?
I would say the Digitone.
I would say the OP one.
I'd say the Juno.
The Juno.
Man, I love the Juno.
You're the Juno man. Oh, I love that. That's a great answer.
And
That's a great answer.
yeah, don't forget, check your privilege.
Check your privilege. Check it now.
Check it right now. Has it been checked?
Peace.
Do you want to hear a funny answer
Yeah,
that I got for check your privilege?
I do.
I am not privileged enough was the answer. They
That's
said
definitely a sign of
I
true
was
privilege.
Yeah, I was like,
If
check
you-
your privilege. She's like,
If you feel
this
like
is
you're
a
in a
fellow
place,
staff member. She was like, I don't feel like I'm privileged enough. I was like, oh my gosh.
if you feel like you're in a place that you're not that privileged, or that you don't need to check your privilege, then you
or that you're not
definitely-
privileged enough.
that you're not privileged enough, then you need to check it.
Check it again and
Again.
again.
You're in trouble then.
Yeah.
All right, guys. God bless you. Bye bye.
Cue the outro music.
Cue Funky Rainbow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.